So just another stupid vlog today. Because I'm busy tuning, I'm busy testing like another profile because, like, let's be honest, I'm addicted to RAM tuning and stuff like that. Um, I am watching YouTube actually on my TV while I'm talking to you guys. But today's video, I'm just gonna like speak about something um, that I like. I don't really speak about like myself too much. I had a video in the past, like my first ever video uploaded actually on the channel was about bodybuilding, but this video is a bit interesting. It's about addictions. So I'm not old. I'm not super old. I'm like 2025 in a few months' time. But like watching what I'm watching, and then like this what I'm doing now, and like just thinking about the lost, like I don't know, like my entire like young adult life, and like actually um falling into addiction in certain fields, because when you become a young adult and you have more resources like at your disposal, you end up having the possibility to become addicted to whatever, because like when you're very young, you can't really afford things, you can't really do what you want to do, you can't really move freely, you're always like under your parents' wing. So like, but when you get older, like, you know, mid-teens to like, you know, young 20, like early 20s, you can do whatever you want, and then like you can become addicted in like so many ways. So my addictions in the past have been bodybuilding, um, competitive gaming, and this, I guess you could say, is an addiction in a way. I mean, it's a form of addiction, I guess. Um, what else? Something else I wanted to say. No, just those three mainly, just those three. Um, so the thing is, right, like I stopped bodybuilding, for the same reason why I stopped my pursuit of like max records on OCing, like, and for the same reason I stopped playing competitive gaming, and that is that in life, like you have to come to a kind of like a fork in the road where whatever you're doing has to either end up becoming a job. In that regard, you can't be addicted. Like a person that plays Counter Strike for a living cannot be addicted to Counter Strike because maybe they enjoy the game, maybe they are addicted, so to speak. Like they need the game to feel normal. Like they have to play the game to feel like their life has meaning. But on a flip side, like it's their job, so they can't really look at it that way. It's almost like, I mean, if your mom is a doctor and she's always reading like medical journals and stuff, trying to improve her expertise. Like this is hypothetically, right? You can't say she's addicted to reading medical literature because, like, it's her job and it's like her calling. It's not really addiction. It's more of her craft, right? So there's a difference between addiction and a craft. Like Counter Strike and like COD, my two games of choice I've played in the past. Even FIFA. Before FIFA competitive really blew up, but I was playing FIFA like you could say almost like competitive. There was a period, you know, I had a friend named Ziad. He's still a friend of mine. I don't speak to him too often anymore, but Ziad and me used to play FIFA like, dude, I'm talking like we'd play Ultimate Team for like 8-10 hours a day, dude. I mean, I'd come back from high school and we'd be on like Xbox live chat and literally like just be like talking about like trading, like selling players on the market and on the FUT market, and like, you know, foot market rather, um you know, the ultimate team market, and like, you know, which squads are OP, like which division we're in, how we're doing. We just be playing the whole time, and just that was life for like a year, dude. Like for a solid year, I was playing FIFA and just FIFA for a whole year. I mean, I love football, but FIFA, I've been playing FIFA like a whole year, and like a disgusting amount, and that is not healthy. Like you should not be doing that. Where you know you're screwed when you sometimes lie in bed and wonder to yourself, when this thing blows over, which it eventually will, what am I? That's when you know you're addicted. Like when you know you're in trouble is when you start being like, okay, well, this period of my life that I'm enjoying this thing to the tune of 8 to 10 hours a day, which is like basically your entire day of free time aside from school or work. If it's your only thing, then it means, what are you after that thing? Like, what are you otherwise? It's why I stopped bodybuilding too. Um, well, bodybuilding is more complicated, but I'll speak about that a bit in a short moment. But let me first finish with this topic of Counter Strike and gaming, and that is like gaming. I've always loved since I was young, and since I was able to afford, you know, gaming devices, because I mean we weren't always wealthy, so we're not wealthy now even, but like when I was particularly young, we weren't wealthy at all, and we couldn't really even afford like anything. But um I've always loved gaming, and the thing is, there comes a point where you have to realize like you can game, but gaming can't be you, because to be a gamer and only a gamer is dysfunctional. It's not a healthy way of living. No matter what, you doesn't matter if you're not an extrovert or whatever. It doesn't matter if you don't go to bars or parties. It's more like the principle of it is like you cannot be a gamer and just a gamer. It can't be your only thing. Like you cannot just only game, and I mean that in the serious way, like the most serious of ways. Like you cannot just be a person who comes home and their computer is their only. I love my computer, but it's not my only. Like there are other things that matter to me too, and that's how it should be for everyone at least. Unless you are like a streamer who makes a living again, or like let's say you're a YouTuber who makes a living off of playing different, like Jeff for example. Like Jeff plays COD all day. He plays other games too, but the thing is he's living and he makes a good fucking living, and that's just because he's gaming. Now I'm sure he loves gaming anyway, but like it's something that he has to do because he has to pay the bills, and that's his calling, and he's good at it. So if something isn't making you money, you should, not to say that like money is all the be all end of everything, and like you have to make money, and if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. Not like that. I mean, if it's not making you money and it's not your living, it's not a side living. It isn't something that you need to do all the time. Like it's not something like if you do it often, it gives you like literal benefits for the future and like allows you to raise a family. Like if it's that, then that's different. But like I said, if it's something where you can do without, but it's something you just like to do and you just have your free time and you spend it on that thing, you have to be at a point where like you can't like look at that thing as something where it's like that's all you're gonna do, that's who you are. Because the problem is, guys, when that thing stops becoming, your thing, you run into identity crisis, and then you can become depressed. Like that's happened to me before. Um, so my first addiction was competitive Call of Duty. Now, context wise, when like I said, I was young. We were very poor actually, and when my mom moved overseas when I was like 14 or 13 rather, she had a bit more money to spend, so I had an Xbox when I was when I was 14, my first year of high school, and obviously I played COD because my friend Jared, good friend of mine Jared, was like, hey, you should come play COD with me and a few other friends that some people I knew as well. Funny enough, funny story. A lot of the guys we played with back in like the early days of like the competitive or the African Call of Duty online scene. A lot of the guys we played with and like were in our clan, so to speak, actually became like really good comp players later in the year, like 3-4 years later, which is kind of wild. But I digress. So we played COD online, and I played a lot. I was like, that became my thing. I had a lot of story games, and I loved story games initially, but then when Jared like introed me to like not COD, like online COD, like multiplayer COD, I was like, damn, this is so cool. Like this is like the most amazing ever. And Modern Warfare 3 is an amazing game, and I met some really amazing people in my time playing COD competitive. I mean, some of my best friends still to this day. From that, in that I have no regrets, of course, but like, that whole thing of like when I started doing one activity for like 8+ hours a day, that's kind of where I wouldn't say I gained an addictive personality, because I mean you always have it, right? Something you always have. When I was very young, you could argue I was addicted to reading because I was reading like all day long because it's all I could do. I was reading, watching TV. That's all I was doing. Like reading, TV, so like sport and like just movies and like reading. That's all I was doing all day long. That was me when I was young, because I had much else. Like we didn't have, like I said, I had no Xbox. So I read books, and I read books all day long, like literally all day long. And TV wise, we didn't have like the most like we didn't have the full TV package here where I live, so I couldn't watch much. But what I could watch a lot of was sport. So I would watch cricket, like rugby, football all day long, literally all day long. Like I would just find something to watch, and I was watching sport like literally 24/7, every single match. Like just that was me, and that too. You become a one-dimensional person. That's the problem. Like you don't have like dimensions to you. Like you don't have you need to have like a holistic, like like a holistic, I don't know, kind of like you have to have a multifaceted like personality. Like you can't just be one thing. Like it doesn't matter what it is. If you're just one thing, it's weird. Like you can't just be one thing. Like you shouldn't be the guy that like just watches sport. Like watching sports, I love sport. I still love sport, but you shouldn't just watch sport. Like you should always have options. Otherwise, life isn't really worth living in anyway. I mean, But besides that, you limit yourself in terms of like people that you can meet and interact with, and conversation topics, and also just like in general, like you just you know um when you have one thing, like when that thing eventually turns on you, which it always will, like you fall apart. Like like football. Imagine, look, I love Chelsea. I always will love Chelsea, the football club. They're playing really badly right now. Now let's say I had nothing else, and that's all I was. I just loved watching football all day. I would watch like football analysis videos on YouTube, and my team that I love so much is getting absolutely destroyed with a horrible ownership. Doesn't know what they're doing. The team is falling apart. It's crazy. I bet a lot of Chelsea fans are actually like, having bad mental health because of it. I mean, really, like, if you really love sport, then it's all you do. It's all you interested in. Like, when you have like a situation like that, for example, you fall apart, dude. Like, you literally like you're distraught because it ruins your day because like your team, your beloved team is getting like destroyed and they're not winning any games, and it's like there's nothing else you can turn to. Like, and that's a problem. Same thing with like Counter Strike. Like when I learned that like Counter Strike in our country wasn't going anywhere, and I had connection problems back in the day because I didn't have fiber at the time. I have fiber now, that's why I upload so much because my fiber is like really fast, which is amazing. I love it. Like I love the opportunity, but I stopped. I didn't. I don't play Counter Strike anymore, even though I can. Now that I have fiber, I can whenever I want. Usually I have the best pick in the lobby. Usually most lobbies I have the best internet. Usually, I mean I have the best setup, but I just don't do it. Like almost no one in my area has fiber, and I have the 200 meg line, and I have a sick router, like better than most people have. I have, like, I mean, I basically have the best connection whenever I step in lobby, but I don't play anymore. Why? Because it's just not me anymore. Like you move on with life, right? And it's like, same thing with bodybuilding. COVID was what derailed me initially. COVID and not being able to gym for like 5 months really derailed me. It was bad, guys. I mean, watching years of suffering just fall apart. It's hard on your mental health. But again, like after a while, I recovered and I realized, like, you know what? It sucks. It does suck. It's terrible. It sucked. It really did. It was a really shit thing, and I really would have loved to have the opportunity, not say I would have, but the opportunity to have made a career in the field. But at the same time, if you step back and look at it like from a broader perspective, I fell in love with the mixed martial arts in the year of COVID. And then I started to realize, you know what? Like, there's other, like, cool active activities, like, I mean, like, sporting type things, endeavors, that can interest you too. And maybe, like, my obsession with bodybuilding wasn't a good thing because there are other things out there that are just as, like, fulfilling to look at, and even, like, different forms of training. Like, I mean, just, like, so the thing is, like, you begin to understand as you age, or as you hope you would, that you cannot build your foundation of your life on one thing, and that can include like business too. Like, there's some guys my age who have fallen into this whole thing with like, okay, so I'll be honest, guys. At our age, women these days are a bit, I say complicated. Like, what it takes these days to find a partner and to date, and like what it means to be a man nowadays. So unfortunately, it is unfortunate. A lot of guys feel like the need to not pursue anything fun for the first like 10 years of adulthood, and your main goal is just self improvement. That's the goal. So a lot of guys, all they do in their free time is further self improvement. So if they're not working or going to school, which are other forms of self improvement, they're doing, like, they're going to the gym, doing cardio, trading, like, looking at the stock market, looking at the crypto market, trading, doing research, getting further qualifications, all in the pursuit of as much money as possible. That's the goal. Get as much money as possible, get set up for life, and make yourself a high value man. That pursuit does not afford you to play games, to really like do much else. I mean, it's a pursuit of this thing, and that's who you are for like how many years. Now, this is not a like a historical thing. This is a new thing, a very new thing. Because let's be honest, guys, let's just call a spade a spade. The way people are nowadays, the way people my age are nowadays, is not how they were 20 years ago. It's not how they were 30 years ago. Yeah, there's underlying psychology, of course. Psychology is not never changed. I mean, the human brain has never really like changed. We haven't had evolution. Recently, obviously, of course not. But societal trends, yes, have definitely changed and pushed things in a different direction. And you know, this too shall pass. There will come a time where dudes who are devoting themselves to this goal of just self improvement and who don't do anything else for fear of being wasting their time or whatever else they want to say, like that's not. Sorry guys, my TV is reflecting on me. Advert. That's not really like sustainable, dude. Like after a while you get tired of it, I promise you. You people don't understand what I mean until you hit it. Like once you start falling into existential crises, like where you wake up in the morning or you go to bed at night and you just sit there wondering why you're alive and why you exist. And that can happen even when things are going good. Like that doesn't happen like, exclusively when like things are bad. No, things could be really good and you could still question like why do you exist? Because like sometimes the basic hardships of the world, like the basic things that you require to survive and just do and like just to interact with people and deal with situations, which is just part of life. Sometimes things become tedious. Like, things build up over time, Like you just have a bad day and then you have a bad week and then a bad month and then people are pissing you off and you're getting in stupid arguments and then after a while you're like, fucking humans are annoying. Like, why do I exist? I don't want to be alive on this planet. Like, it's so boring and this thing that I have, you're tired of it, whatever it is, like whether it's a car that you bought, whether it's a gaming console, whether it's a PC you bought, whether it's anything, whether it's your job, whether it's the money you accrued, like it could be anything. Like you get bored. It doesn't matter if you have like $10 million in the bank. Eventually you're like, it doesn't hit you the same anymore. It wouldn't hit you the same. You'd be like, yay, I'm rich, awesome. And it's like after a while you're just like, what now? Like, okay, I'm rich now, cool. Like people want to say, oh no, that's a thing. It's probably the reason why people that are rich already want to be richer, because once you hit the goal of being rich, if you stop there, it's like you have nothing else to try. So you're like, let's see, maybe if I become even more rich, it'll make me feel better. And then eventually you'll be like, what if I become a multi-billionaire? Maybe then I'll be like really fulfilled. So you just keep going in this like, and that becomes your cope. That becomes your coping. That's how you live. Like, because the thing is, you have to separate like the facets of the world, like the aspects of society you can take part in, from your actual being, which is like, and I'm not talking like spiritual. I mean just like not spiritually, but I mean like who you are and what the world is. You have to kind of context the two and be like, you know what, like objectively speaking, you don't have to be rich. Like being rich isn't objectively a good thing. Like it's not like you like, okay, obviously it helps you survive easier, but I mean being rich shouldn't be like the be all end all of everything. It just doesn't make sense. Like we don't know why we exist fundamentally. Like even if you're a Christian or whatever religion, like fundamentally speaking, you don't really know why you exist, if you know what I mean. Like you don't really know. Like whether you're agnostic, atheist, anti-theist, Christian, Muslim, whatever, like Hindu, whatever religion, whatever non-religion, it doesn't matter. Like fundamentally speaking, you never told why you exist, right? Like I mean, maybe if you're religious, like maybe you're told like certain aspects of why you might exist, but you're never told like why do you exist? Like why are you here? Like why did you get put here? Why did you get born? You never told this. You never explained like why it was you and what you are and who you are. What you are is just a person, and cliche as it is, like life is essentially what you make of it. And if you make your life one thing, whatever that thing is, it becomes meaningless. Like it becomes like a spiral of just the same thing over and over again, and you don't grow, and you can't actually you can't really like say you lived a full life, right? So someone who's only worked their whole life, I'm talking like studies full time, uni full time, making as much money as possible. That person at 35 years old, and look back at their life and be like, you know what? There's so many things I didn't try. Whether it's bodybuilding, whether it's comp gaming, whether it's singing, acting, whatever it is, if you just work and then you end up being this multi-millionaire, and you look back at your youth and you're like, damn, so many things I never tried. I never know if I could have done it. And that's like probably one of the worst places to be, is when you're too old and haven't even tried to be something. Um, so yeah, like I mean, so like with this RAM overclocking I'm doing, I do it all the time, but I'm not gonna try and get into the industry because I just don't think it's for me. Like I don't think that I'm the kind of person that wants to start a business or a company, a vendor, or anything like that. I don't feel like taking a business loan out. I don't feel like doing that. I just don't feel like being a salesperson. I don't feel like going back to university and doing engineering. I don't feel like building graphics cards. I like graphics cards. I don't feel like building them. It's not my calling. Same with bodybuilding. After a while, I realized, you know what? It sucks that I couldn't do it, but maybe I prefer dieting and training for fun than doing it because I want to compete and train people all day and write coaching plans and go to, events and, stand at supplement booths and speak to fans and sign stuff. Maybe it's not for me. Like, maybe the life of a bodybuilder actually isn't what you think it is. Like, if maybe it isn't for you. Maybe it really isn't for you. Like, people that end up doing, like, I mean, especially, like, niche things like gaming competitively or like bodybuilding or like sports stars, athletes or whatever, oftentimes like they have a thing for it where they just know, like they just know that it's their calling, and that becomes their thing and they do it for a living, right? And that they become famous and whatever. But actually, like, most people don't have a calling like that. Some of them don't try. That's a bigger issue, is some people don't try. Although sometimes you could argue trying in and of itself is luxury. Like being able to try to pursue something fun is luxury. Like having the time to do so. So like having the time to game competitively, having the time to bodybuild might be a luxury for some. So it's not always possible, right? But yeah, just a fun vlog. My thoughts on just addictions, like, and addictions. It's not about like, yeah, addiction is a funny thing. People don't understand when they are addicted. Like, so many people that are addicted to CS:GO. I think, because I look at Shroud play just now on YouTube, right? And I'm like, I just think about when I played that game, and I'm like, damn, like I don't really want to go back and play it. I've played so much of it that I'm just tired of it, and I can't imagine those still doing it. Like I can't imagine what's going through their minds, and I can't believe it's healthy for them. I just don't believe, like, playing a game like that for 8-10 hours a day, interacting with the same people, the same toxic arguments, day in, day out for years and years and years. I just can't believe it's healthy for you. It's something dysfunctional, dude. It is. As with bodybuilding, I love bodybuilding. A lot of friends are bodybuilding, and God bless them. But dude, like, if all you are is just the gym and dieting, and that's all your life is, it's not a good way to live. It's just not. It just isn't. If you're getting paid, okay, then you deal with it. Then that's why people say when it comes to job, it's no longer fun. A job shouldn't be fun, because now you're not doing it because you want to do it. You should recognize that it's not sustainable to do all the time, but that you are doing all the time because you have to get paid. That's why a job shouldn't be fun. If the job is fun, then I guess you're lucky, but I just don't believe jobs can be fun. Like, because eventually you will get tired of something, but you keep doing it anyway because you have to. You have a choice. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure like Ronaldo. I bet Ronaldo isn't always keen to play football, but he gets paid a crap ton of money, and he can't just turn it down because he can potentially set up generations of his family for success by doing this, and he's so good at it. So he's like, I bet he wants to retire. Part of him wants to retire. Part of him wants to still achieve something, but he knows he probably won't. But at the same time, the money is so good. I bet even Ronaldo and Messi are like on the fence, but they just sometimes you got to keep doing whatever you're doing because that's just how it is. You can't turn the money down. In that regard, I mean, that's a good example. Some gamers too. I mean, a good example is Slasher and FaZe. FaZe Slasher, the COD player, the COD pro, that gets a lot of hate and stuff. So when I stopped comp, really, like, Slasher came into the scene. So when I stopped playing comp COD in Ghosts, Slasher started playing, like, comp COD properly, right? And Slasher ended up becoming one of the most successful players of all time. but he's not really playing super well these days. Now, he's still good, obviously, he's a pro player, but, like, he's not playing super well, if you know what I mean. He's not really the star player anymore, but, and a lot of fans give him hate, but the truth is, if you're getting paid that kind of money, which I bet he's getting a really lucrative contract, you keep playing. It doesn't matter what anyone says. It doesn't matter if you feel like you belong. It doesn't matter if you feel like you want to play, if you hate the game, whatever. If your paycheck is X, it's hard to turn down, and at that point, it makes sense not to. Because even though you no longer want to be there, you have to be there. The problem comes when you shouldn't be there, and you can't wake up and smell the coffee. Like, if you can't smell the coffee, that's a problem. If you're a comp CS player right now, at 26 years old, you don't have a job, or you do have a job, you're living with your parents. Not that it's a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with that, because I mean, houses these days are very expensive. There's nothing wrong with living with your parents, but like I'm saying, if you do it because you don't want it, like you don't feel like you can move out, or you don't want to progress your life, you feel like comfortable, overly comfortable, then it's a problem. So like, let's say you have no real desire to do any of your life. All you want to do is play CS all day long. That's all you want to do. You just want to come home and play CS:GO. That's all you want to do. Like, you just go to your job, make your money, buy skins, play CS all day. That's all you want to do. It's not really a great way to live, honestly. Like, it's probably not a good idea. It's probably not a good thing. You have to have some balance. Like, you have to have some other things going, and like you have to play other games, or go to the gym, or watch some movies, some series, talk to your friends, like anything. It doesn't matter how mundane, but do not let one activity become your everything. Like, even if it's YouTube, don't watch one genre of YouTube video. Like, don't watch like just reaction videos, or just vlogs, or just bodybuilding videos, or just like, whatever. You have to have different things. It doesn't matter how simplistic or mundane. The principle is not to always be improving yourself and always be like impressive, or always be like learning. The point is to never be stuck in one like sphere of existence. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, anything can become dysfunctional. Even, like I said, even work. Like, because at one point you have to, like, you gotta be 60, 70 years old, on your deathbed, and be like, everyone looked at me like I was successful. You have all this money, right? And you're gonna be like, damn, I surely did the right thing, right? I did the right thing, working all the time, and this is me. Like, this career I had, like, this was a good thing, right? You want to believe it, but then the truth is, like, after all that was your life. Even after all the things you thought were the right things to do, which is like making the most money, being successful, getting praise from your peers and your friends and your family, because everyone recognizes a hard worker who makes a lot of money as a good thing in society. Like, that's a gold standard, right? But the thing is, if you step back, it's like anything is just not a way to live. Like, you cannot, you can't live a full life just doing one thing, or doing one hobby, or one activity, or one anything. Like, if one thing is all you care about, then it's a problem. So, yeah. Oh, guys, that's a long vlog, long rant. Yeah. So, I hope this keeps going. I don't want the error. I'll show you the settings I'm doing. But these settings. So I tweaked my profile a little bit, just like added a bit more FCLK, just for fun, and changed some timing rules out, just whatever. But yeah, so otherwise I'll see you guys soon. Probably I've been uploading a lot the last few days. I just do. I don't really care about like upload consistency or like timing. I'm not like a person like schedule the video. No, if I want to post something, I'll post it. I don't care. Like, if people watch the video, they don't watch the video. If they forget I exist, I don't care. It's chill. I'm just making videos because I have fun. But like, yeah. So feel free to like comment down below what you think, and like if you had experiences like I have. I don't know. Maybe you disagree. I don't know. But like, I'll be curious to hear. But I'll see you guys.